Good afternoon, I'm Paul Brand, and welcome to a very special part of the St. Paul Winter Carnival. My co-host Adam Popp and I are standing in the middle of a very frozen Lake Phalen in St. Paul. Normally this time of year you'd expect to see ice houses, people ice skating. Not so this weekend, Adam.
The Pepsi International Ice Race is here this weekend. It's a traditional part of the Winter Carnival. And these cars, as you can hear, are loud and they're going fast. I'd say 90 miles an hour on the front straight here.
Unusual conditions for ice racing this weekend. Bright sunshine, temperatures in the middle 40s, wonderful for the spectators, but tough on the cars and the drivers because of the ruts. A traditional part of the Winter Carnival, weekend races Saturday and Sunday. Stay with us. We'll be back for the first modified race right after this commercial word. Welcome back to St. Paul's Winter Carnival Ice Racing, and again out on Lake Phalen this weekend, two groups of cars, Adam. The first group we're going to see are faster and louder, the modified cars.
That's right. The modified cars have unlimited amounts of horsepower. They can do anything like turbocharging, supercharging. They run with more studs, and these are really incredibly fast racing cars.
Last-minute preparations on Joe Hauser, last year's winners. Saab 99. It's an older car, but very, very quick. If you'll notice, the crew member is pouring fuel in what looks like the passenger compartment. That's because there's a fuel cell on that vehicle. The Suzuki pace car out. The other cars, again, in last-minute preparation, will be ready shortly.
There's John Dozier in the number 10 Honda. He's starting on the pole.
And John Menard in the four-wheel drive Mazda, last week's winner. Pole sitter John Dozier, a little warm-up for the driver. Crew's taking care of the car. He's taking care of himself.
That's right. He's trying to get himself psyched up for this one.
And it looks like Joe Hauser has a serious problem with his Saab. There won't be a repeat victory this year. Great disappointment, I'm sure, for Joe and the crew.
They were running very fast yesterday in the qualifying race and also ran into some mechanical difficulties.
From the inside of one of our camera cars.
That's Dennis Popp, my father, running in the Leslie Paper Carousel Motorsports Colt.
We know who you're pulling for.
Yeah, I've got to be rooting for him, and, you know, they've had a little bit of problems this year, but they're really running strong today.
Well, Denny's been involved with ice racing from its very origins. I think about the time they invented ice.
That's right, that's right.
The cars are gridding out on turn one to give the spectators a little better view of the cars and drivers. One of the front-drive Volkswagen Scirocco's front drive, the drive of choice on ice.
Definitely the drive of choice. That was Steve Parley in the Scirocco. He's from Thunder Bay. Drivers driving all over from Canada, everywhere.
Although, again, Menard in an all-wheel drive car, and another vehicle in this class, a Toyota All-Track, also with all-wheel drive. Our second camera car.
That is Jim Kubicek in the downtown driving Scirocco. We should get some good footage from that car.
The pace car pulls away. At this point, the ice is still snow-covered, actually chip-covered from the ice chips off the studded tires. Very quickly, as the race develops, we're likely to see ruts. How will that influence the race, Adam?
Well, with the warm weather, the ruts are going to change the track immediately, and you're going to see drivers having to adapt every lap a little bit different, finding a new line, finding a faster way around the track.
More like something Sammy Swindell or Steve Kinzer would be familiar with on dirt.
Much like changing conditions on a dirt track. Very similar.
You might ask, why the windshield wiper now?
Well, he's just prepared for the start of the race. There's going to be so much ice flying, and at this point, it's getting warm, and that's going to be hitting, you know, it's just going to be like rain on the car.
Our pole sitter, John Dozier, brings the field toward the green flag on the outside of the front row.
That's Brian Heitzman from Duluth and a very fast Renault Alliance.
Green flag is out. Dozier's in the best position for turn one, but not necessarily on the best part of the ice, although it does look like he's going to win the drag race and get the little Honda into turn one first.
Yep, he's in first, and that's exactly where you want to be. Behind him, it's difficult to see.
In fact, this gives you some idea of the limited visibility, particularly in the early laps with heavy traffic. This is virtually driving blind.
Right, yeah. Jim Kubicek can't see anything in front of his car, and here we're in Denny Popp's car. He's just looking for the light on the back of the car in front of him.
Driving by braille. Just keep your foot down till you hear a loud crash.
That's right.
The cars slide tremendously on the ice. The driver, you can see here the movement of the hands, fighting for control as the vehicle bounces from rut to rut. While the slides are fun, not too much.
No, you want to try and get the wheels straightened out as fast as possible because that's where the car really will go faster and you're doing less damage on the driveline of the car.
Dozier showing us how to do it right. A great exhibition of car control. The perfect slide off the corner. Lots of speed down the straightaway. But even here, you can see the roughness of the waveform in the ice.
Right. It's tossing the car back and forth in that dish that's forming, and it really is getting deeper and deeper every lap.
Dozier's got an early lead. The factory Honda's right up front, but, oh, we've got a problem.
Yep. Here comes one of the Hondas sliding off turn one. That must be P.D. Cunningham in the four-wheel drive Honda.
And nope, he's not going to make it back onto the racetrack. He's in a very dangerous position right on the outside of turn one. That'll require a yellow flag to warn the other drivers. But Petey, short race today.
Yeah, very short race. Back in the car with Jim Kubicek. You can see him fighting the wheel all the time here. The ruts are pulling the drive wheels back and forth.
Here is a tire that will do no more sliding this afternoon.
Yeah, I figured Petey probably had mechanical problems. That's what forced him out of the race.
Again, Dozier with a nice smooth arc through turn one, but we can already see the rut beginning to develop. John has been able to maintain his lead from the start, but John Menard is making quite a charge back up through the field.
Yeah, John Menard's had an incredible drive in the Haviland Mazda 4x4. Coming all the way from the back, that's a really difficult task.
Of course. It's car number 7, a Lotus Europa. It looks like he's got a broken right rear suspension.
Right, yeah, that was Steve Carter from Forest Lake, and definitely ruts probably broke that rear suspension.
We just saw one of the problems on ice is trying to pass once off the clear portion of the ice. Is the snow and ice chips, do they actually slow the cars down?
Yeah, that was Steve Parley trying to get around Jim Kubicek. He pulled out of the line, immediately slows him down. It's very difficult to pass on this track.
The safety vehicle pulling P.D. Cunningham's Honda off into a safe location. He may be able to change that tire and get back in the race, but no chance of victory today.
No, too short of a race to get back into this one for P.D.
And as we go back inside the cars, the battle between the two Scirocco's. Oh, big trouble.
Big rollover here. It looks like Steve Parley's rolled in front of Jim Kubicek. He's gone in the bank, too. Both Scirocco's out of the race.
Well, ice racing certainly has a strong safety record over the years. The cars are fitted with roll cages, and fortunately, the snowbanks tend to absorb much of the impact.
Right. It's not like a cement wall at Indy or something. It really soaks up the crash, but then again, you can see how clipping a corner can roll the car immediately.
He's certainly lowered the roof line a little bit. We'll hope he's okay. Dozier again on the beginning of the last lap. Menard has closed the gap. Is Dozier pacing himself or hanging on at this point?
He's definitely hanging on. He's got his foot flat in it, and I think he's probably hearing all kinds of strange noises coming from that motor this lap.
Well, they're going to have to get past this yellow flag situation. That will slow both cars down, maybe give Menard a chance to close the gap.
That's right. He could close the gap, but he cannot pass under the yellow.
Well, we'll find out shortly as they come through the last corner. Dozier hanging on to the lead by about 10 car lengths, headed for the checkered flag. Well, where is he going?
Boy, he's really headed for the checkered flag. That's his crew there doing the worm. They've got to be really happy.
A great victory for John Dozier. John Menard finishing second in the all-wheel drive Mazda. I know he can't be satisfied with second place, but he can't be unhappy with the quality of drive coming from the back of the field. Nice job.
That keeps him in the points lead also, so John had a good finish here.
And a great race for the spectators today, the modified race. A good turnout in St. Paul with the nice weather. And a couple of more finishers, the other all-wheel drive Honda and the all-track Toyota Celica, an unusual car for ice racing.
Right, that's Mike Rappa from Minneapolis, and there's Denny Popp finishing second in the GTO class with the Leslie Paper Carousel Colt.
A very nice job. You guys, the family's had that race car around for a number of years.
Yeah, that race car's gone through some development. It was a turbo last year, now it's normally aspirated.
And as we scan across Lake Phalen, a good-sized hole in the ice from the warm weather and a big flock of geese and ducks enjoying the race this afternoon.
Sure, I think they got in free today.
And John Dozier up on the winner's circle to enjoy the laurels of victory. A little cold for champagne, but I'm sure John will try at least a sip.
Yeah, it looks to me like he's going to get a good soaking of Pepsi up there.
He managed to stay dry and warm in the race car for the endurance of the race, but now it's the crew's turn to give him a bath in the champagne and Pepsi.
Okay, we'll send Paul down to talk to John, and little kites out here on Lake Phalen.
John, the modified race actually looked pretty easy. You started out front, looked like you stayed there, but actually everybody was catching you slowly.
Everybody was catching me slowly. We had some troubles. We raced without a clutch. The car broke somewhat, and we've had some development troubles. We're just getting it sorted out, so it wasn't up to par, but we just ran away from them and kept in the lead, and my crew kept telling me where we were, and we kept in front of them.
It looked like the Darrell Waltrip syndrome, just fast enough to get there first.
Well, that's all that matters, crossing the finish line first.
Congratulations. John Dozier from Minneapolis, winner of today's modified race. Adam, we've watched the modified cars at great speed on this track. Next up is more of an endurance event, the showroom stock cars.
That's right. It's going to be a 3-hour race. They actually change drivers. There's 2 drivers. They'll pit somewhere between a third and 2/3 full of the race. They'll add fuel, change tires perhaps, and that will be about it.
How important is the pit strategy, the timing of when it's done and the choice on new tires?
That's very important. Some drivers are faster, or they're faster in the rough, so they will want to run at the end of the race, or some drivers are better starters. So it all plays into effect. You know, it's really a lot of strategy involved.
And of course, the key to it all may be the frozen pit crew members in the showroom stock race.
Well, the spectators are sure enjoying the warm weather, but it's really going to make the track a difficult, treacherous track. We're sending Paul down to the grid to check with the drivers.
Pole sitter Herb Johnson, this is certainly different from the IndyCar career, but from the smiles, it looks like just as much fun.
It's more fun. This kind of racing is really fun. It's a lot more camaraderie. It's not very cutthroat. Leighton and I are close friends. You shake hands, you pat each other on the back, and this is fun racing.
Does the 3-hour endurance really imply endurance, or do you guys run hard the whole time?
This is going to be a real endurance race. The track is so rough. You're going to have to be in good shape, and the car is going to have to be in better shape to finish this one.
How about the tires? Are the studs going to stay in the tires if you run hard?
We're sure hoping so. The conditions today are favorable for the studs. The warmer it gets, the easier it is on the tire. We're prepared to do a change, but I think we might go the whole distance on the same set.
Excellent. Good luck today, Herm.
Thanks, Paul.
You can see Herm psyching out the competition with his super secret tires there.
Leighton Reese starting from the front row today alongside Herm Johnson. He says you guys are friends on and off the track. Is that really true?
Oh, yeah, we are. Sometimes our relationship is strained.
Do you expect the 3-hour race to be hard on the studs? He thinks that the warmer weather might be an advantage to keeping the studs in the tires.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have a problem with the studs. I think we're going to have a problem with suspension breakage, lesser experienced drivers getting caught in ruts. The track is going to be rough.
Well, your experience with oval tracks and dirt, that's got to be a little bit of an asset, because this is probably more akin to racing on dirt than on any type of pavement.
Well, yeah, it is. It's like racing on a gravel road. You would do a lot of sliding here. It's unbelievable, but the traction is pretty surprising at the same time.
Okay, well, you and P.D. Cunningham got to be up front today. A favorite, 3 hours to go. We'll see how it comes out at the end.
Boy, we're hoping for the best.
Thank you, Leighton.
All right, thank you.
There's modified winner John Dozier with his other prize, his 6-week-old baby.
A huge field of cars this afternoon on Lake Phalen, and a good number of people turned out to enjoy the action. We have 3 different classes of cars, and the total grid of well over 30 for the 3-hour endurance event. Obviously, with just a half-hour TV show, we can't show you the whole event. We're going to compress it into some of the highlights. Our camera car, the pole-sitting Volkswagen, Herm Johnson and Bill Pate, and of course some of the passenger cars and folks out to enjoy the afternoon's races. On the pace lap, the drivers are trying to take a close look at this racetrack.
Yeah, they're trying to check out the ruts now. It's really changing a lot lap by lap.
Johnson has chosen the outside for the start. Leighton Reese alongside in the Honda. It'll be a drag race into turn 1, side by side, looking for the green flag. The flag's out. It looks like Johnson, Herm Johnson gets the jump at the start. Will he make it into turn 1?
Well, you know that Leighton's not going to let off.
Side by side into turn 1, Johnson may have the speed, but Reese has the inside line. Leighton Reese on the inside of the Honda.
Reese even clipped off the wood pallet at the end of the corner there.
He's into turn 2 first, but he's had to pinch the car here. This may cost him.
Right. If you go in fast, you come out slow, and that's exactly what happened.
And Herm Johnson moving into the lead, which during the course of the first hour and a half of this event, he extended out to about 30 seconds. Again, you can see the roughness in the racetrack. Pit stops, an important part of endurance racing.
You can see Herm, he's already prepared to get out of the car before he stops here. Belts unbuckled, window net down.
Door is open. Herm will jump out. Of course, this job's not done. He's got to help co-driver Bill Pate get in and buckle up and back out on the racetrack as quickly as possible.
Right now, they're checking the tires and fueling the car, and as soon as Bill's buckled up, they'll be ready to go.
As you can see, Bill gets the shoulder belts and seat belts together. Herm puts the window net back in and reconnects Bill's radio, a very important part of the strategy. A snug on each belt, the door is closed, and Bill Pate's back under race, still in the lead. That's the big point of our 3-hour event. Again, the racetrack has taken its toll on cars and drivers. The Honda now beginning to show some strain, closing the gap to some degree. After both cars had pitted, the gap had narrowed, but the Volkswagen still in front with the Honda at second place. Suddenly, the whole situation changed.
Right. They've run into a tire problem. It looks like a flat tire on the right front of the Volkswagen.
After just a few laps, Bill Pate back in an unscheduled pit stop, and absolutely right front tire completely flat. This will be a costly mistake.
Yeah, they can't change as fast as Indy cars here, and it's probably going to cost them a lap.
Has he been able to call in on the radio so that the crew, yes, they're anticipating this change?
They're definitely ready for it. They had the wrenches out, and they're having a little trouble getting the jack under there. But, you know, they're changing this as fast as possible.
Well, our fingers are a little bit numb in this cold weather. Meanwhile, Peter Cunningham in the Honda has moved back in front. The question now is how much ground will the Volkswagen lose?
Well, here he's coming by the pit straight. The Volkswagen still hasn't gotten rolling yet, and he's going to be able to pull a good margin here.
Yep, as you see, co-driver Leighton Reese, who's just gotten out, acknowledging moving into first place. Bill Pate back out of the pits. There's still over an hour left in this race. It is not over by any means.
No, the track is changing so quickly now. This kind of warmth is not good for the ice at all.
Cunningham, a conservative strategy at this point, trying to make sure that Honda finishes the race, avoid the worst parts of the racetrack. Bill Pate, absolutely caution to the wind.
Right.
Totally aggressive, driving with abandon.
He's got to want to win this one bad, and he's driving like that.
As the laps narrow down, the gap also closed down. Here's our third place car, John Menard. A couple of pit stops early cost them several laps. Into heavy traffic as we begin the last lap. And as you can see, the gap is down to under 2 seconds with Peter Cunningham leading Bill Pate.
Traffic is really going to be an important part of the finish of this race.
A very aggressive move by Pate through turn 1 closes the gap up to Cunningham to within just a couple of car lengths. Through turn 2, Cunningham has to back off because of a slower car. Pate sees his opportunity here on this back straightaway.
Again, Cunningham's getting out of the line and really getting slowed down here.
Oh!
Pate makes contact with another lap car.
I think he thought the opening would be there. It was gone by the time he got there. That was costly. It appears like the driver didn't see Bill Pate coming, let the lead Honda through, but closed the door on the second place car. I think we're going to get another chance to see this in a replay and see if we can find out exactly what happened.
Cunningham goes to the outside. I'm sure that driver moved to the inside, and then whammo, there goes Pate into the car.
I guess he had to give it a try. It was his only hope. He still has a chance. 4 more corners left in the racetrack, but that has given the Honda just a little breathing room. As you can see, into the next to last corner, the Volkswagen is right there through the last corner, virtually side by side. Bill Pate on the outside, Peter Cunningham on the inside. As they sprint for the flag, it will be Cunningham in the Honda by less than 1 second. An incredible finish to a 3-hour race in treacherous conditions. Our other class winners include
Lyle Nenow, Bud Erb in the ST class with a Chevy Z24. Jerry and John Needus, SA class winners in the Fiat. And SB winners Cliff Eben and Kurt Wash there.
Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to the winners right after these messages. Leighton, Petey, congratulations on a great win.
Oh boy, it's really great. It's good to be here. It's been a lot of work, but it's been great. I've got a lot of great help from people at Honda and General Tire.
Well, which was the hard part, the first half driving or watching the second half?
They were both hard. The second half was quite strenuous watching from the pits.
The first half was.
Well, that brings us to Petey. Petey, second place at the pit stop, good strong pace. The Volkswagen had a little tire problem, and then you were in the lead.
Yeah, that's right. That was an unfortunate thing for those guys, but even before they had that problem, we were reeling them in, and we were just trying to bide our time. We knew we had about an hour and 20 minutes left to go in the race. It was just a matter of time. Our car was really working great. Our General Tires were unbelievable. Honda worked great.
An unusual day out here at Lake Phalen. Warm temperatures, a very rutted racetrack, a lot of water and a lot of body contact. But an exciting show for the fans. The victory margin, less than a car length, probably the closest in ice racing history. For my co-host, Adam Popp, I'm Paul Brandt. We hope you've enjoyed Pepsi International Ice Racing from Lake Phalen in St. Paul.